Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the July Valley High Studio Calico kit, and I'm just showing you some of the stuff I may be using. And this layout actually ends up taking a total different color scheme than I thought. I thought I was going to keep it all in these blues because that's the main, color. I have a Studio Calico pattern and the Josephine Kimberling, I think it's called, and it's the keys. And I really wanted to keep going on that route, but I end up taking it takes a different twist. So I'm having trouble getting my photo kind of equal. It was all crooked. And again, I'm doing a few cheerleading photos of my daughter's competition. I'm trying to get most of them done before she starts off on, her new year. So I want to use that template from Crafter's Workshop, and it has sort of like a sunburst of hearts, and it has almost splatters and everything. So I'm going to use a Stampin' Up! Ink. It's called Blue Bayou, and it really coordinates with that cardstock really well. And then I'm going to do it at the bottom left corner. And what I did was I just put a little bit of this to that dot adhesive on the back of the template so that it doesn't move around as I'm trying to ink it up. And I'm just using a sponge to distribute the ink. I found a lot of times, instead of using mist on my templates, I like to use a sponge and an ink pad. Much better. I find it's more control and there's less, it's not as messy. It's more controlled, for the template. Now I'm going to put my template away. And now I'm going to start working on the layers of the layout. And this, I did use up one of the 6x6 patterns that came in the card kit. And now I'm going to mat my photos with the key pattern paper from Josephine Kimberling. And by the time I'm done, you're not going to see the keys at all. And now I'm going to use that other paper from Studio Calico, and I'm just measuring the space that's left. And I'm going to cut a piece of those. It's sort of, it's white with circles, but the circle is not full. It's just an outline of a circle. And I'm going to put it to the right of the photos. And then I thought that I would use those triangle papers that's on the back side, but the blue was just too different. And the reason I want to do that is because some of their stunts, one of their stunts that they do is called a pyramid. So I thought it'd be neat to, kind of use triangles for that because it looks like a pyramid, but it didn't coordinate. So instead I'm going to use that word paper from Studio Calico from the 6x6 pattern paper. And the back of that key paper, there is those stitch flowers. And so I'm going to cut all around it and going to use it as an embellishment on the page. And this is where the page takes a different turn. Because that floral is kind of big and it's pink, then I start bringing in pink embellishments, and then the page is more pink than it is blue, as far as embellishments. And that's okay. That happens. It just means that I'm going to have to go in my bucket and just take out, different embellishments. So I'm just going to, detail cut around that flower. And while I'm doing that, I had a question on my last video or the one before, I can't remember. And she asked if I used, what inspired me to scrapbook? Did I use sketches, or did I just, fly by the seat of my pants? And before I started getting the Studio Calico kits, I used to use sketches all the time. And ever since I started playing with the Studio Calico kit, that's when I decided to start making videos around the same time. And so then I decided, well, just start using a kit and just go with it. So this is the 138th scrapbooking process video since I started. And I believe I started in February. I believe it was around the 20th. So in 8 months, I've done 100 and maybe it's 139 today. 139 scrapbook process video. It's super early here, and I work till 2 o'clock in the morning. So the brain is still not awake. And so I just found that now I just kind of grab my photos and just go for it, and just grab a whole bunch of embellishments from the kit. And then I started now taking stuff from my own stash and putting it in a container and just bringing that into and just going with how I feel, and just having a whole bunch of fun. So now, like I said, I had pulled all my embellishments thinking that I was going to go with the teal color, and then I decided to go more pink. So now I'm going to have to go through my stuff and now take out the pink. And the tool that I'm using right now is called EK Success Powder Tool, and someone asked me where I bought it. I bought mine at Simon Says Stamp, but I think if you just look under EK Success, I think most places carry it, because it's not like a collection or anything like that. It's a tool. So I think most places still carry it, but I know that Simon Says Stamps had it. And it's an EK Success powder tool. And it's awesome because I just rub it on the back of the stickers, and it's like a little brush, and there's powder, baby powder in the barrel, and it just takes the stickiness away so you can move your stickers all around your page. And I used to cut the sticker right out, but I found that the more that you cut out from the sticker sheet, then like your sticker sheet became all flimsy, and then you'd have to cut them apart, and then you'd have remnants of different sticker sheets, and I didn't like that at all. So I'd rather take the stickiness away, and then my sticker sheet remains intact, and I can still move my sticker around. So I really, really like doing that. So I know now, like I had taken out some letters that, it was going to be blue. And now I'm going with the pink. So I started pulling out my pink stickers from October Afternoon. I want to use that stamp set. It's a Technique Tuesday stamp set, and it is for cheerleading. And it's not one of the only. It is the only stamp set that I've ever seen for cheerleading. So as soon as I saw it, I grabbed it right up. It was a couple of years ago. I bought it from Custom Crops. And now I'm going through my wood veneer embellishments, and I'm going to take out a few heartwood veneer, and I'm going to take out some little potty girls. I'm going to take out 3, and only because I want to signify a group, because it's a photo of the both teams in one shot, because when they went to the competition, it was the senior team and the IO team, and IO stands for International Open, and what that means is that they can compete everywhere. So if they win a certain, I don't know if it's an amount of competition or a certain competition, then they get invited to Worlds, which is being held, it can be anywhere. Last year it was in Florida, I believe. And so it's quite exciting. And I mean, my daughter started out in cheerleading in high school, and then a year later or a year and a half later, then there was an international cheerleading team that came to our city, so she joined that team. And now it has been, that was in grade 9, so this is her 6th year. And it is, I know a lot of people say, not a lot of people, but some people say, I guess, I won't generalize, is it really a sport? And I can tell you that child is in tip-top form. There is not an ounce of fat on that child. And 2 weeks ago, when she got super sick and lost 14 pounds, it wasn't fat that she lost. It was actually muscle mass. And that's why they were so concerned about her, because she had no fat to lose. It was all muscle mass. And it really showed really quickly when she lost all that weight. And it is super hard. And she's 20 years old and thinking of retiring because it's so hard on her body. Her knees hurt, her back hurts. And she is a super, her upper body is super strong because she is a flyer. And that's the reason for the little birdies too on the page, because, it was to represent that she is a flyer. And now I'm going to start sticking everything down. And my glue, I've never had so much trouble with my glue, except for this bottle right here. It keeps sticking, or not sticking, but clogging. And someone suggested that when I finish using it, they had read somewhere that if you stand it upright and you just kind of press it, and it uses the rest of it and just kind of goes push, and the air comes out, that it doesn't stick. But I tried it, and I can keep squirting it and it doesn't stop. So I don't know. And I think that's probably what the issue is. There's something wrong with this bottle somehow, and that's why I'm having issues with it. Because, I use these bottles all the time and I've never had an issue. But it still doesn't deter me from that glue. It's still my favorite glue. And now I'm going to, like I said, keep gluing my embellishments down. And I used a doily and I cut it in half. And now I went through, I got to do a haul. I've received a few orders from Simon Says Stamps, and this was one of them. I ordered the Project Life, the Amy Tangerine, the smaller package, and what was the other one? The Polka Dot Party, and I have the Maggie Holmes, on the way to me now. And I've ordered a few other different things, and I really love to use those cards for embellishments, clusters on my page. And the top there was a little crooked, so I had to rip it off and kind of use it up. Now, I haven't started my Project Life yet, but I figured I'm going to start it in January, where I'm going to try to do it every month. But I thought where I would give myself a little nudge to kind of put myself into that mode, I'm going to do the December daily, and I'm going to have its own album. I don't know if I'm going to do it 12 by 12 yet, or I'm going to use a smaller album. But as soon as I get all the stuff to start my December daily in my hot little hands, I'm going to do a haul video and kind of share how I plan on going forward with this. And I plan on having a special way to, kind of have everything laid out so that kind of makes it easier on myself. So I'm going to share my process with that also. And I have most of the month of December off, so I thought it would be a perfect time to get that done. So I hope it doesn't mean that I don't get as many of my Studio Calico kits used up because of it, because I'm going to have to it's a page a day. So, you know, I hope I can still meet my goal for my Studio Calico kits. So now I put some score tape in behind my ribbon, and that ribbon is from Stampin' Up, and I absolutely love it. And I love score tape too. It's the only double adhesive tape that I found for me in the area. I find glues are very temperamental, I guess, to where you live. And I found it's the only glue that works for ribbon for me. Like all the other stuff kind of lifts, even my ATD tape. You know, I can't, wet glue doesn't work. So I'm trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to put the ribbon. So I'm going to put it in between the 3 different clusters. And the bottom cluster, I just used one of the tags that came from one of the sticker sheets. And then I cut a few more of those flowers out. And I put it in each of the different clusters. And it's funny because that paper on the flower side was probably one of my least favorite pattern paper. Only because I didn't know how I was going to use it. So using the blue side as, you know, a mat, and then cutting out the flowers for embellishments, that pattern paper is almost all gone. So that was, you know, good. I got to use it pretty much up. And then probably the other blue pattern paper, it's a nice subtle background, so I'll probably use it as a background before the kit is all used up. And I had pulled one of those three-dimensional hearts, and I'm going to use that on this page. I've had that forever. I believe it's an Amy Tangerine American Craft embellishment. So I'm just kind of moving. Those little potty girls are going to make it, I think, all around the page before I decide where I'm going to put it. I just can't seem to make up my mind where I'm going to put them. And now I'm going to stamp some of the words that came in that Technique Tuesday stamp set, and it says "Go, Fight, and Win." And then I'm going to put a heart. I'm going to dig through my embellishments or my wood veneers here to find smaller hearts. And I'm going to put one on either side, and it's sort of frame, it's sort of a subtitle, I guess. And I just want to frame it in between 2 hearts. And I'm going to end up coloring those heart, oh my goodness, I really can't talk today. The hearts in so that it coordinates with the page a little better. And this is where I'm going to color them in with the daubers from Hero Arts, and I absolutely love those daubers. I'm going to buy all the colors that they have because I use them all the time. And I try to color in one of the birds in that Tide Pool blue, but I really don't like it. So I'm just going to dig through my wood veneers and just grab another bird and just leave it, you know, the wood veneer color. Now I'm going to use the thickers that came in this month's kit, and they are cork, and I'm going to color them in white with the daubers again. So I'm just going to add some of that Hero Arts white dauber, and then I'm going to dry it up with my heat gun. And you can tell as I'm drying it, you can see the cork coming through, and it's dark again. So I'm going to put a second coat. And what I really like about that white ink is when you put that second color over top, like I'm going to use the pale tomato, it really tones down that ink, and it's not as much as, you know, in your face kind of color. It's not as bright as it could be. like if you were using it by itself. So I really like that. I really like, I've used it a lot with the Tide Pool Blue and now with the Pale Tomato, and it makes it coordinate with the page a whole lot more. So the reason for my title, Stick It, and then I debated putting the rest of what I wanted to put for the title, because the title is Stick It to Them. And the reason it's not meant in any, bad way at all, it's because whether they're doing tumbling or their stunts, they need to stick it. And if they don't, they lose points. And, their knees need to be locked, and they need to stick whatever form that they're doing, they need to stick it. So I'm just kind of using a play on words, so make sure that you stick it to them, like stick your form, stick your tumbling. And so that's the way I meant it. And so this, when you're going to see the pictures, there's no journaling, but I did the journaling this morning. And I basically journaled about how they're a new team. Like this was only their second year. And in the second year, they place first 2 or 3 times and they place second. And they really did really well. And there's even a couple of competition. There's also at competitions, they have an award for the team that has the most spirit, and that they encourage other teams and they're not being mean, and they won that award too. So they're really a good group of girls, and they're very competitive. I mean, because it is a competitive sport, but they're very happy-go-lucky and happy for the other team if they win. I mean, obviously sad that they didn't, but they congratulate the other team and tell them that they deserved it. And so anyway, you're going to see it's going to take me a long time to put the rest of the title, because I was kind of like, oh, I really want to put that because it's kind of a funny play on words, but so I'm going to decide and do it, because that's not the way I meant it whatsoever, like in a bad way. So now I'm going to glue the rest of the embellishments using my quick dry adhesive, and I ended up using quite a bit of embellishments on this page, and like I said, it kind of totally went a pink way. And I was trying to, and it's funny because not that I dislike pink, I don't dislike pink at all, but it's not my favorite color. But I find when I scrapbook, I use pink a lot. And maybe it's because the daughter, the one that's in this picture, that is her favorite color. So maybe it's because of that I use pink a lot for her layouts, because it is her favorite color. And every time I show her a layout, she always says, oh, I love it, it's pink. So that's probably, has a lot to do with it. So I had taken out a whole bunch of wood veneer stars too. But I found I had enough, I guess, different shapes going on. I had hearts, I had the birds, and I had, what else? Well, I'm going to put some enamel dots, or I'm putting them on right now. So I already had 3, and then the wood veneer girls, the potty girls. So I figured that it was enough, that it was enough of a variety. So I didn't want to add anything else. So now I'm going to take out my October afternoon mini market stickers, and this is where I'm going to put the to them. And I hope I had to stop the videos quite a few times while, recording this, because I could tell it was kind of glitching. And I'm glad I did, because it had stopped after 5 minutes and I stopped it at 7. So I only did 2 minutes that I had to re-record. So every, 5 to 10 minutes, I was stopping it and restarting it. So hopefully you weren't able to tell that I did that, but I figured it was a better option than having to re-record a whole 26 minutes every time. So at this point, I'm going to use some Mr. Huey ink in the blue and the pink, and I'm going to splatter the page, not on the background, but near the embellishments. And if you want to see some close-up pictures, you can go to Two Peas in a Bucket or Studio Calico. In the members gallery, you can look for Nicole Jones 911, and also on Pinterest. And I have the link on my YouTube channel. I think it's on my toolbar where it says, my photo and all that. It's on the side, and also in the About tab. And also you can join me on Facebook. And I have the link in the description. So that's it. The page is done. So thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, and this page took me 1 hour and 42 minutes to make, and it is the 4th layout.